SHS introduction saga deepens as opposition NDC fights back, insisting it introduced free senior high school education policy before exiting government in 2016.
So why is President Akufo-Addo feigning ignorance? Or why is he trying to create an impression that he has forgotten about the fact that he himself applauded President Mahama for commencing the implementation of free SHS? The facts, once again, have exposed him badly.
Also tonight, police vow to fiercely descend on troublemakers on December 7 as IGP demands immediate disbandment of vigilante groups 11 days to the polls.
You have no business protecting or providing security. Security is the core responsibility of these agencies that I have mentioned. If you are not a member or a personnel of these services, you have no business putting on any type of uniform and coming there.
We have details as the police are back on nationwide march to whip up public confidence. Also tonight on the campaign trail, NDC flag bearer John Mahama is accusing Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's led administration of abandoning the Eastern Corridor Road connecting the north to the southern part of the country.
Unfortunately, this government has been a government of only promises. They talk louder than they act.
Plus, chiefs of Gowon East in the central region make a strong case for establishment of a military post to deal with the growing insecurity in that enclave as President Akufo-Addo begins his tour of the central region.
After the evacuation, the new tenants who took over their homes are terrorizing us.
Payment for all validated claims of customers expected to benefit from government's bailout.
Later in sports, we'll hear from head coach Yusuf Basigi as the Black Princesses lose to their Moroccan counterparts in an international friendly at the Accra Sports Stadium.
You want to join us with your views and comments here on Newsnight 055-11-11997. To our first story now, where the opposition National Democratic Congress is tonight insisting that the John Mahama administration launched and implemented, in fact started, a free SHS policy before exiting government in 2016. This has become a major subject of some controversy with 11 days to the polls. There was a major news conference today in Accra where the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jimfi, argued that the policy then covered over 300,000 students. Now, this comment follows what President Akufo-Addo described as shocking claims by Mr. Mahama that he started the program. Now, listen to what former President Mahama said at a rally in the Upper West region just 2 days ago, which started this whole controversy.
We introduced the free SHS in 2015. That is when I inaugurated it. I declared the free SHS began in 2015, and the video is there where I announced the beginning of free SHS. If we had used the method we were using to implement free SHS, we would not have ended up with double track. And so what the new NDC government will do would be to remove the bottlenecks that make it necessary for our children to stay at home for as long as 3 months before they go back to school. And so when NDC comes into office, I abolished the double track. Within 1 year of 7 January 2021, we will abolish the double track.
Well, a day after Mahama's pronouncements, the president comes in with a response. He described Mr. Mahama's accession as outright lies and deceit meant to revive his uninspiring campaign.
Free SHS Bebado. Okase me dada Ghana for. Some guy, some de vote into the Mekasa. Nakra about the 20 years as a Ghana for the air. And say, also what 2 billion CDs are not offend to school fees or the baby be papa. And then also no the free SHS no buy. Hey, nah, and ye fair. So man penny dada, because all they are troning dada and the baby fruit you are catching. You be man the coin. Na Santro, if you are there bako, on one who said the campaign no enko baby. He is seeing that his campaign is collapsing in confusion and fabrications and now outright lie. So I'm looking for a massive endorsement for the people of Ghana for that blueprint, which is set out in our manifesto of 2020. Jafide, Mesramo, me penu boom.
So that is the incumbent president reacting to the assertions made earlier. Now, speaking at the news conference a few hours ago, NDC Communications Officer Sami Jemfi asked President Akufo-Addo not to take credit for the introduction of the free SHS. He cited instances where then candidate Akufo-Addo lauded then President Mahama for introducing the program. He produced what he believes to be evidence to back their claim that they, in fact, introduced free SHS.
The facts show that indeed it was President Mahama who launched the program and actually started with over 360,000 day students in 2015, as you heard in this short video clip. In fact, the textbooks that secondary schools today are using under the free SHS program were all procured by the Mahama administration in 2016, 3.6 million textbooks. And this free SHS program we are talking about has been made possible. In fact, the full implementation of it, which includes boarding students, has been made possible as a result of the over 46 community-day senior high schools that John Dramani Mahama built, but for which we would have been experiencing a quadruple track and not a double track by this time. And so our friends in the MPP must learn to give credit where credit is due. You came, met a program which had already been launched. Day students in this country, over 360,000 of them were not paying school fees. You came to continue it, which is good, because governance is a continuum. But don't claim credit for something you did not start. Don't say you started it when you did not start it. And ladies and gentlemen, ironically, President Akufo-Addo, who says that he is surprised that President Mahama or anybody will suggest that it was the Mahama NDC government which introduced free SHS in 2015, actually lauded and applauded John Dramani Mahama in 2015 when he launched free SHS. Can we see the screenshot of that story by CTFM Online, which says that Mahama's free SHS, good news for Ghanaians, Nanado. And this is an interview he had with then host of the political talk show on Omai FM, Fifi Boafo, who now works as a public relations officer at Cocoa Board. So why is President Akufo-Addo feigning ignorance? Or why is he trying to create an impression that he has forgotten about the fact that he himself applauded President Mahama for commencing the implementation of free SHS? The facts, once again, have exposed him badly. Not just that. Around the time that President Mahama introduced free SHS, President Akufo-Addo actually tweeted. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tweet by President Akufo-Addo on the 9th of December 2014. And this is what President Akufo-Addo said. If President Mahama is indeed introducing free SHS in the 2015-2016 academic year, I would say hallelujah. Now, the man who said hallelujah to the introduction of free SHS by President Mahama today says that, why is President Mahama saying he started it? This is his tweet. The internet doesn't forget. And once again, President Akufo-Addo has been exposed.
So that is the communications officer of the National Democratic Congress, Mrs. Sami Jemfi. Okay, so the back and forth has gone on for a while. We're going to fact check this now based on what we know. My colleague Ernest Menu joins me in the studio with that. So the NDC goes back to 2015 and say they in fact launched they started the free SHS. Today at the press conference, they produced a video evidence of John Mahama at an event declaring that this is the launch of the progressively free senior high school policy. And I'm qualifying that. Now, we've also been doing a few more digging, in terms some additional digging into the budget, because at that particular event, which was played today at the NDC press conference, John Mahama mentions that his launch was preceded by budgeting, which Parliament had approved a significant amount for that policy to commence. progressively free. We went into that budget. This is the 2015 budget, correct?
Exactly. So this is the 2015 budget.
So
and Evans,
that spells out exactly what the NDC policy was. What
exactly.
was it?
So when you take the 2015 budget statement, it says Community Day and progressively free SHS. So this is what they introduced.
Okay.
Community Day and progressively free SHS. It says, and I'm reading verbatim, it says, Mr. Speaker, in fulfillment of our promise to construct...
And this is, you can find this in paragraph 881.
Exactly. When you take the answer, it says, Mr. Speaker, in fulfillment of our promise to construct more community day senior high schools, government began the construction of the first 73 senior high schools in as many selected districts across the country. In 2015, the second phase of the construction of the Community Day Senior High School project will commence with an additional 50 schools.
Okay.
It continues.
So they link the Community Day
and
the progressively free senior high school. Now, did they tell us, in essence, what the progressively free senior high school was going to do and what form it will take?
They did. And so when you go to the next paragraph, just after what I read, it says that, Mr. Speaker, government is committed to making secondary education progressively free, starting from 2015-2016 academic year. In this regard, in 2015, government will absorb one.
And this is important. So this is what the progressively free senior high school policy covered.
So the first point there is GES approved examination fees, library, entertainment, SRC, science development, sports, culture, and internet fees.
Okay.
And so, and benefited,
they have an estimation.
They have an estimation. Benefited about 367,565 day students in 2015-2016 academic year.
But the controversy is not about progressively free senior high school. It is about free senior high school.
Free senior high school.
And the question to ask is whether the two
are the
same. It's progressively, because as you said, the evidence we found in the budget, and which John Mahama launched later, talks about progressively free senior high school and lists what it covers.
Yeah, exactly. But and connects it to the Community Day Senior High School, because if you look at the budget, it covers expenses for day senior high school.
Yes, not
day students.
Day students.
Exactly.
So it appears there is some difference
in what was introduced
in the two policies, the progressively free senior high school and the free senior high school. So we dug up into exactly what the MPP free senior high school policy is. What is it that?
And this is from the free senior high school secretariat. We just pulled that from there. So they covered one, free tuition, admission fees, textbooks, library fees, science center fees, fees for ICT, examination fees, payment of utility fees, boarding fees, and meals, Evans. So these are the major ones.
What you see is that appears to be complete.
Exactly.
In terms of what it was funding.
And this is for all students.
All students.
Not
both day students and boarding students, including covering meals, boarding fees, etc. If you look at what the progressively free senior high school policy was covering, it didn't mention free tuition. Tuition. It didn't mention admission fee.
It didn't mention
the common I guess elements or items they cover is library.
Is the library. You can also look at the science fees, the science center fees. Then there's also the examination fees.
Only
those are the
common ones that both.
Exactly.
But apart from that, they are different.
They are different
in terms of what they do.
Exactly.
Okay. So the key question to ask now is: are the two? So because John Mahama's argument is that he started free SHS. But what the evidence show is that what they launch is a progressively free,
connected to the Community Day
Senior High School.
Exactly.
We'll speak to the Africa Education as we begin to clarify whether these two policies are indeed the same and whether indeed one can claim to have started which. But you can make up your mind based on the facts as you've heard it. I want to bring in the Deputy Education Minister, Mr. Educhum, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Also joining us on the telephone line right now is the minority spokesperson on education in Parliament, Mr. Peter Nochu. I'm grateful, gentlemen, for your time here on Newsnight. Mr. Educhum, let me start with you. So the evidence, as we have just detailed, as captured in the 2015 budget, is that it's factual to say that the NDC started the progressively free senior high school. You don't dispute that, do you?
I mean, facts are facts, and you have done a good job bringing out the facts. And in fact, the free senior high school, the items that it picked up was every item, including development levy, vehicle maintenance, furniture maintenance, everything that parents were paying was picked up under the free senior high school. And it's comprehensively free and not taking a few items and saying I'm paying for it. So I think the facts are there. So I really don't understand why anybody should say I introduced free senior high school and not I introduced comprehensively whatever the progressively free. I mean, if you say that's what you introduced, you have facts to back it up. Unfortunate thing was that the fees that they picked up, they did not even pay. So, but the bottom line is that I'm not going to make an argument about somebody who introduced progressively free, said it in Parliament, made budgetary allocated. That is what he did. This is very different from free senior high school. Boarding fee all catered for. My brother, if the data is anything to go by, 2016, 461,000 students sat for the BEC, 308,799 ended up in school, 111,336 did not show up. If it was free, they would have shown up. So, but bottom line is, I think your research is on point, and I appreciate the meticulous job you've done, and I hope Ghanaians listening to you will just take a cue from the data that you have presented.
But here's the question, though. I mean, as a concept and as a policy, they started definitely an aspect of this. So when you're talking about, well, I mean, I looked at it this way. Isn't it obvious that yours was the end product? They actually initiated it with the intention that, of course, eventually they will get to the destination of making it completely free.
Oh, my brother, as a government. Your data doesn't say that. What they said in Parliament doesn't say that. So I don't think we need to put words in their mouth. What they said was very clear. Progressively free. They listed the things they were going to do. We came in, enhanced even the Northern scholarship grants, made it more comprehensive, pick up boarding fees, gave day students a meal a day. This is different. Holistic, comprehensive, breaking barriers, getting more girls to go to school. This is what free senior high school is about.
Thankfully, your colleague in Parliament who speaks for the minority on education also is with us, Mr. Peter Nochu. Mr. Nochu, you must have been in Parliament in 2015. In fact, I find evidence of this both in the budget that was read November the year before, 2015, and the State of the Nation address of 2015. Can you say, looking at that document, that the NDC introduced free senior high school? Hello, Mr. Nochu. Okay. We don't appear to have him. We'll try and get him back on the telephone line. As we clear this up, one of the key things that has become central to the conversation leading up to the 2020 elections in 11 days. But Mr. Dutroux, since I have you on the telephone line here, this obviously has become a key issue. You've talked about it quite extensively. The NDC insists that they initiated this, but if you look at governments as a continuum, right, which we all accept it is, you definitely cannot ignore that the NDC did a fair bit of job on the concept of initiating what may obviously was completed in your time when it comes to free SHS. You don't even acknowledge that at all as a continuum?
My brother, my statement is based on your research. I love data. You have brought it out. So why do I need to say more?
Okay, hold on for me.
I can say that the first president of this nation, President Kwame Nkrumah, laid a foundation. and we came to build on it. Everybody come and we build on it. But if it's a northern feeding grant, say it's a northern feeding grant. If it's a progressively free senior high school that somebody came to build on it, say it is progressively free senior high school. If it's free senior high school, say it's free. That's a simple thing. Why can't we all tell the truth?
Hold on for me.
This is what I did. This is what somebody did, and this is where we are. Simple.
Mr. Nochu is back with us. We lost at the beginning. Mr. Nochu, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I was asking the question. Can you say that the NDC in 2050 indeed and in fact introduced free senior high school?
Yeah, thank you very much, Evans. It is on record that in 2015, President Mahama launched the free senior high school program. As a government, he went by the dictates or the words of the Constitution, which says that the secondary education at free senior high school should be introduced to the country progressively. And that was what he followed. So there is evidence to show that President Mahama actually started the free senior high school.
So let me ask you for clarity. Is progressively free senior high school that which you actually launched same as free senior high school?
There's no difference in the free senior high school and the progressively free senior. I'm saying that if you look at the Constitution said we should introduce it progressively. So as a party or a government, we decided to use the words of the Constitution, which say that it should be progressively free. And if you look at the program, how we outlined or we introduced it, it was progressively free.
Yes, but that's a thing. So what you did was borrowing from what the Constitution prescribed to be progressive.
Yes, so we wanted to use the terms of the Constitution.
So you started the process of progressively free, and in fact, you said there's no difference. But if you look at the specifics as contained in the 2015 budget, what you were covering is substantially different from what the free SHS under the NPP was covering in material substance.
Well, what I can say is that in the case of the progressively free, we looked at a number of issues. How were we prepared infrastructurally? What we were able to do that could make us start it. That's why we said that, no, let's use the term of the Constitution. So that when it is progressively free, in the next 2-3 years, it will cover every bus in the senior high school. So if you look at how we started it and how they have started it, there's a big difference.
Yeah, so but isn't that where the controversy is? You said there's a big difference. So can you actually claim that what they implemented in 2017 is what you did in 2015?
No, what I'm saying is that you look at the way they introduced it, because they were not prepared for it. So it was symbolically introduced, and the consequences are there. So we saw better than let's do it progressively, so that by the time it covers everybody, no chaos would exist or come out of it. That is why we decided to go by the dictates of the Constitution to make sure that we did it progressively and qualitatively.
So the two can be the same then, because
they cannot be the same, because we want it qualitatively, not qualitatively, not just making sure that you push everybody there, and the challenges will outweigh the advantages that we would have benefited from it. In any case, over 450,000 students who were admitted. At the end of it all, how many students wrote the final examination? About 365, including the private school students. Where are the remaining 100,000? Where did they go? So that is why the difference is there. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Duchu.
Hey, that is a ranking member on the education committee, and he doesn't know the number of students who were placed in the first year of free senior high school. My brother, no, you go and look at your notes. It's 365, not 460. Go and check your notes. We gave education committee reports. Go and check your report and read it carefully before you come on air, because you are misleading Ghanaians. What you are saying is not true. But you have admitted that yours was different from ours. Ours was comprehensive, yours was not. So what is the argument here?
Ours was more qualitative than
qualitative. Qualitative. Let's talk about qualitative. Let's talk about qualitative. My brother, do you know what happened in 2016? Your mathematics score was 32%. When we implemented free senior high school and you bastardized it and say it was so bad, then we end up with better outcomes on the WASI. Look at 65% score on mathematics. And you talk about qualitative. Are you talking about qualitative when under your watch? If you don't think under your watch, mathematics score was 32%, and under us is 65, and yours is more quality than us. Have that result. Oh, come on, Mr. Nochu, I didn't interrupt you when you were talking. I didn't, because facts should speak for itself. Your mathematics score in 2016 was 32%. Our mathematics score is 65%, and somehow yours was more quality than us. Come on, what is quality? Education outcomes, assessment is what we are using. So if our results from the free senior high school that you have lambasted happens to be better than yours, in some cases double, the outcome is twice yours. How can you say yours was more qualitative than us? So don't even bring in the quality, because the data now has betrayed you and your assertions.
Mr. Duchu,
free senior high school has produced better outcomes than yours.
Oh, Mr. Duchu, hold on for me. Mr. Nochu, your final thoughts?
Well, he is saying that they had performed better. But on average, if you look at the average performance, total performance, does he think that if you look at all the other core subjects, their students of 2020 did not perform better than even students of 2019 on the average? So his statistics is also not correct. That's why it's basic. It's not basic. Not only one subject that will make a student go to the university or a tertiary institution. There are other subjects. So if you combine all, you will see that the performance even last year was better than this year in the core subjects. That one you must know.
Okay. I'm grateful, gentlemen, for your time here on Newsnight. That is the Deputy Education Minister, Mr. Yaw Duchum, and the Minority Spokesperson on Education. In fact, there's a ranking on the Education Committee in Parliament as well. Listen, I want to hear from you on this controversial subject. Send me a WhatsApp 055 1111997. What do you make of the controversy? Haven't heard of the details as have been put out in those facts. Still ahead, education. We will hit the campaign trail tonight and join the camps of John Mahama and Nanado, where our embedded reporters are traveling with them tonight. A lot happening on the ground. You want to stay with us for that. I want to bring in very briefly for some independent thoughts on this controversial subject. Kofi Asari, who is the head of the Africa Education Watch, joins us with an independent thoughts on this matter of the free SHS. Mr. Asari, I'm grateful that you could join us, if you may. So the controversy surrounds who, in fact, introduced free SHS. The facts, as we put out, show that in 2015, indeed, John Mahama launched progressively free senior high school. The MPP did free SHS. Can the two be said to be the same? And what do you make of this debate? Where do you stand on this?
The two are not the same. One is called progressively free. That one targeted day students. It made day students not to pay fees. So SRC dues, entertainment dues, examination fees, library fees, all those fees were paid by the state to the schools on behalf of these day students. So virtually the only fee day students paid, which wasn't a fee, but then obviously the dues, was the PTA dues. And so that is one. Now the second one, which is an improvement over the previous one, which obviously is the reason why governance is a continuum, is a free senior high school policy. And that one, apart from making education free for this same day students, it included a meal a day, free exercise books, and free uniforms. And so the second one is more comprehensive, the package. If you are comparing it to the progressively free.
Okay.
On the side of borders, there were some subsidies for some of the costs like utilities. Mainly, it was intended to be a subsidy for boarding schools and then a free education sort of for day schools. But the free senior high school is an omnibus, the comprehensive package of both fee-free and also providing learning materials, including exercise books, your school uniforms, and everything that they require.
I guess the big question that remains is a simple one. Did the NDC, in fact, launch the free SHS in 2015? That's
of course, they didn't launch it. It was implemented for one academic year. If you look at the education sector reports, in the 2015-16 academic year, enrollment increased from 260,000 to 285,700. That was about 25,000 new senior high school students admitted. And so it was actually implemented for 1 year, and it covered more than 120,000 day students.
I'm grateful with your thoughts on this. That is Kofi Asare there joining us with his thoughts. I'll share with you shortly what you've been saying to us on this. But let me bring in my colleague, Charles Aite with Business. And the Securities and Exchange Commission has some good news for those who have funds locked up. Some validations have been done and they can expect some payments.
Exactly. So these are 10,000 clients. This is the assurance given by the Securities and Exchange Commission promising the payment of validated claims of all customers expected to benefit from the government bailout. Also in the bulletin, we have the gas production for half year hitting over 70 million standard cubic feet, highest since the country started producing crude oil in commercial quantities. Of course, Business on Newsnight is brought to us by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essential. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Hello, your friend Kwesi. Na me ma wakwa de ba me class a your friend why wade. Ene beto me bo ase a cheche o senia. Ubetumi ma wo MTN mo no aye adwuma ma wo yie. Sei emfa ho bia bia wo. Wo ankasa betumi ma wo MTN mo no aye adwuma ma wo. Ayem rete say DIY broni bese. Enti why wade. Kenya wo MTN mo wallet no say sia. Ene ma remfi say obe like na wa subscribe me class yi. Enti so wo ankasa activate wo MTN mo account no e wo phone so. Eno an say obe dial *170# now what the akwantra ebedi disword so enti koso for MTN momo no to our bills fagigi wakatua na some for tow airtime every say we are good together, we there for you everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
We are now operating 4 weekly flights from Accra to over 100 destinations worldwide. Book today with greater flexibility and benefit from our all-inclusive fares starting from $654, earning up to 7,000 bonus kill miles. Book today at QatarAirways.com. Terms and conditions apply. Qatar Airways, going places together.
This December, don't just think about the political party you belong to. Choose a leader who has what it takes and the team to manage and build a strong economy.
Think about the millions who are enjoying free SHS thanks to a strong economy.
Think about the millions of jobs being created and protected because competent hands are managing the economy for you.
Think about the roads, dams, and health centers being constructed thanks to a strong economy.
Remember those who gave you doomsday and handed the economy to the IMF.
Think about a leader who has liberated us after 5 years of doomsday.
Remember, your vote is about your future, our future. Vote for the leader who can manage the economy much better and create more jobs for you. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo, number 1, and the MPP parliamentary candidate in your area.
Ago Mambapa, it's time again to further consolidate Ghana's democratic gains. Eligible voters on 7 December 2020 will vote to elect who should govern our beloved country by showing up at polling centers to participate in this democratic exercise. Remember to vote on issues and reject candidates who incite violence. As a good citizen, refrain from political violence and electoral malpractices. Go along with your voter's ID card to the polling station. Cast your vote peacefully, cooperating with all lawful agencies. Exercise your right to vote safely. Adhere to all COVID-19 safety protocols at polling stations. Get involved, pay attention, stay engaged, and let your vote count. It's your civic responsibility. A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
You're welcome to Business on Newsnight. The Securities and Exchange Commission has given the firm assurance of paying all validated claims of customers expected to benefit from government bailout package. The Commission today announced that it has started working on the request of more than 10,000 clients. Let's listen to the Director General of SEC, Reverend Dan Ogbamitete.
When you get your claim ID, follow through the process. You got your claim ID and you're not happy with the validated claim that you have been given, it means that it will take some time to have it cleared. So it really depends on when you have completed all the processes. But what I do know from what the manager of GCL has committed to is that once all the processes are completed, within 48 hours, when you put in your redemption claim, you will get your money.
This question because of maybe sometimes the concern as to whether the money is really there.
What I'll say is that I wouldn't make an announcement if I don't have the assurance that the money is there, because that will raise serious credibility issues, not just for the institution SEC, but for government that is providing the bailout. So to the extent that we have come out, that is an indication that the money is there.
Reverend Daniel Ogbamitete is Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Gas production in Ghana has hit the highest level since the country started producing crude oil in commercial quantities, according to the Public Interest and Accountability Committee (PIAC) semi-annual report. There is more in this report. Ghana recorded the highest raw gas production for the first half of the year 2020, despite disruptions caused by the global pandemic of the coronavirus. The cumulative raw gas production for the first half of this year was more than 116 million standard cubic feet. This represents a 65% increase over the last year's production and the highest recorded since 2010. Gas production from the Jubilee and 10 fields increased by 30% each, whilst the SGN field recorded a significant increase of about 130%. Meanwhile, crude oil production in the first half of 2020 reduced marginally relative to that of 2019. And that's a Business Desk report. Just before we leave, call it the biggest discounted sales that will hit Ghana before Christmas. You might not be wrong. Well, wondering what I'm talking about is the Black Friday sales, which has now caught on with a lot of outlets and service operators in the country. It has been traditionally celebrated in the United States as part of their Thanksgiving weekend. However, the day has also caught on with players in the several parts of the economy here in Ghana, especially the retail market. So from tomorrow to Sunday, we'll expect some discounts on some selected products and services at the shopping mall nearest to you. We shall be bringing you updates on that one in our subsequent bulletins. But that's how we end this edition of Business on Newsnight.
Well,
my network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers via mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now. Vodafone Cash? But my network is... Hey, sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Massa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash. Hey, make a change the SIM right now. Yeah, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amount of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Fellow Ghanaians, the stakes are high for our country this December. Don't stay home.
Remember, this election is about your future. Which of the candidates would you trust with managing our economy better? Which leader can give us free SHS and enhance the education of our children? Who can you trust to protect us during dark periods such as COVID-19? Who has the competence to protect our economy, build roads and dams?
Do you remember the dark periods of Doomsaw, Create, Loot and Share Brigade?
This December, remember we cannot afford the risk. Let's vote for Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP to protect our progress.
Belacqua so cool, refreshing the family, empowering lives for a better day, quenching your thirst, preserving society. Belacqua for us, Belacqua mineral water. Keep drinking, keep drinking. Belacqua for us, Belacqua mineral water. Keep drinking, keep drinking. Belacqua for us, Belacqua mineral water.
Belacqua, providing clean, refreshing water and contributing to making our environment safer with our recycling plants and lighter plastic initiatives. Belacqua mineral water for the greater good. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
What would you do with 50 gigabytes free data? Would you binge watch TV all day? Would you download FIFA 21? How about downloading your entire coursework? Or you do all at the same time? See, Surfline has a way of giving you value like no one does. 50 gigabytes free data when you get yourself a Surfline device. Now that's a sledgehammer. Don't miss out on anything. Get yourself a Surfline device today from any Surfline shop and get 50 gigabytes free data to do all you ever wanted on Ghana's only true 4G LTE network.
Surfline, it's about time.
Joy 99.7 FM.
And so live here on Newsnight is definitely on Joy. Hans Mensah Ando
Hi, Evans.
is here. Hello, Hans.
It's been a while.
Oh yeah, it's been just a few days.
Just a few days. Okay. Your Manchester United seems to be doing well these days.
Well, that's what Ole does when you're about
Ole
to sack him.
is at the wheel.
Yeah, that's what he does when you're about to sack him.
The wheels are looking good. Anyway, we'll be delving into some Premier League stories, but first, head coach of the Black Princesses, Yusuf Basigi, says he is disappointed about his side's 1-0 loss to Morocco, but is hoping to see them bounce back again later on Monday.
This is one of the first time we've witnessed friendly international at home. We most of the times go to play in away, and we went to Morocco in March. And I saw that they are not a bad side. They are up and coming country so far as women football is concerned. So they played very well over there, and they replicated it here. However, if they were to be here at the time we're in camp, that would have been a different ball game altogether. We broke camp somewhere last month, and the players went back home, and we reassembled about 6 days. So definitely, I wouldn't say that is the matter of the fact, but it had a little bit of effect on us. And then also playing on the AstroTurf at Ram and coming to play on the grass pitch, we could see that our passes were not getting to our teammates, and also we were a bit heavy. So I must say that the Moroccans played very well, and we are looking forward to playing a very good game on Monday and beating them.
Head coach of the Black Princesses, Yusuf Basigi, and Premier League clubs in Liverpool and London will be able to welcome supporters back into their stadiums after the government announced with tiers different areas of the country will be in after the end of the second lockdown. A long list of Premier League clubs in Tier 3, including Manchester City, Manchester United, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Leicester, will be unable to have fans back in person. However, London has been named as a Tier 2 area, which places it in the high-risk category. That means Arsenal will become the first English top-flight club to welcome back fans when they host Rapid Vienna in a Europa League group stage clash today. So that is the situation in London, and that Europa League game actually is on the 3rd of December when Arsenal welcomes back fans into their stadium. Evans.
Thank you very much. This is your election headquarters. Well, let's catch the trail of the opposition leader, John Dramani Mahama, flag bearer of the NDC. He is in the northern region and accusing the Akufo-Addo-led administration of abandoning the Eastern Corridor Road connecting the northern part of the country to the south, citing other projects which were started under his tenure but has been left to rot under the current regime. Mr. Mahama said the government is good and making promises than delivering on it. He made this known when he paid a courtesy call on the Yana at the Gbewa Palace in Yendi.
NDC is known in Yendi for development. When we were in office, we connected a lot of communities to the national electricity grid. We built a lot of chips compounds, about 14 chips compounds. Since we left office 4 years ago, only one chips compound has been built in the Yendi district. My father, the overlord, you remember that we were working on the famous Eastern Corridor Road. And that is a road that is important to the Kingdom of Dagbang, because it opens up the route along the Eastern Corridor all the way to Tema in the Greater Accra region. Since we left office, that project has been abandoned for the last 4 years. A lot of young people in Yendi were employed by the contractor, and so they had work to do. Today, that project has come to a standstill, and the Eastern Corridor Road has deteriorated in some parts of it beyond what it was in the past.
Well, Maxwell Agbagba is embedded with the John Mahama team and joins us on the telephone line right now. Maxwell, where are you currently and how are the people responding there to John Mahama in these final days before the polls?
Okay, so we are currently in the last constituency where John, the NDC presidential candidate, has been speaking with the overlord here. He just actually finished addressing the residents here in this community. Many of them have been blowing their vuvuzelas, some of them sitting on their motorbikes and their Mahama caboose, sharing him home. Even as the convoy is moving down, I can still hear quite a number of them blowing their vuvuzelas and following the convoy. So we've been to the Bimbila constituency, we've also been to the Mion constituency, and we're in Yendi. As I speak to you now, we'll move into our next location.
But at Yendi, he met the overlord of Gabon. The NDC presidential candidate told him that there are some outstanding issues that need to be addressed in order to fully recognize the powers of the Yana. He assured him of his cooperation so that if the NDC is elected into power, the NDC will help him exert his full powers as the overlord of Gabon. He has also been talking a lot about the track record of the NPP. John Mahama says the NPP is full of talk, no action. And he has been promising the people of Yendi of a new district hospital and a brand new water supply system if he's elected come December 7th.
Maxwell, thank you very much. And let's catch the trail now of the incumbent president, Akufo-Addo. He's been in the central region today. Chiefs of Goma East in the region have made a strong demand for the establishment of a military post there to deal with insecurity in the enclave. The chiefs blame the lawlessness on activities of Liberian refugees who have lived in the area since resettling there after the Liberian Civil War. At the start of his campaign tour of the region, the central region that is, the chiefs told President Akufo-Addo to also ensure the United Nations pay compensation due them for releasing their lands to house the refugees there, of course, at the start of that civil war in Liberia. Now, responding, President Akufo-Addo said that demands will be seriously tackled. He also wants the community to vote for him.
MPP say first time me man second term we're going to build a house of prosperity that is going to change the destiny of our country and transform the lives of our people.
Let's talk to Elting Brobe. He's traveling with the president now. Elting, where else is the president tonight, and what has he been saying? I wonder how people are reacting.
So the reaction has been very good for the president. We are currently living the outskirts of the Efutu constituency. A while ago, the president commissioned a housing project and the next gen paper mill, China Limited, under the 1D, 1F project. We are currently moving to the Winneba town where the president is expected to address a Mama rally. We've been to the Agoda East and West Awutu Senior, and the message has been the same, that the people should look at what is done so far, make their own assessment, and then retain him in power for another 4 years to build on the foundation laid.
Thank you very much, Elting. Well, of course, election security has also come up for some discussion, and the IGP, of course, today has been talking about it. The James Opombwenu has sent another strong warning to vigilante groups in the country to disband their activities or face the fury of the security agencies. Thousands of fully armed members of the security agencies, including the police and military, marched through some principal streets across the country in an exercise christened Tafia Lafia. Now, the march targeted mainly hotspots in the country. Join News' Judith Awotri Tando monitored the event and has filed this report.
The nationwide march was a climax of a series of public activities being undertaken by the Ghana Police Service in preparation for the 2020 polls. It drew uniformed men and women from the police, army, fire, immigration, navy, prisons and ambulance services. Addressing the contingent in Accra to open the march, IGP James Opombwenu said the police is on high alert to clamp down on activities of vigilante groups.
You have no business protecting or providing security. Security is the core responsibility of these agencies that I have mentioned. If you are not a member or a personnel of these services, you have no business putting on any type of uniform and coming there. If you do that, we will deal with you.
Chief of Defense Staff Obed Aqua charged Ghanaians to commit to peace before, during and after elections.
Judy's filed that particular report. And some good news in the tech world on Tech Thursday is what has been dubbed the Smart Farm, created by the NIT Open Labs Robotic Club. And my colleague Judith has been to look at this farm and what it does.
At an exhibition, the Public Relations Officer of Solutek, Jane Love, demonstrated how the prototype works.
So actually we have what we call moisture sensors that are inside the soil.
Of course, this is a prototype, so it's tiny, but there are larger moisture sensors in real life you can use. They are inside the soil, regulating the moisture in the soil. So each plot of plant has its own moisture sensor. For the intruder, we have a PIR, infrared detector. What it does, it detects living things that approach your farm.
President of the club, Bajam Fesi, explained how robotics can go a long way to solve the problems of flooding and fire outbreaks, which have been some of Ghana's biggest problems.
Other things as well, like flood detectors. We know that nowadays climate change, there's a disturbance. Sometimes it rains a lot. Sometimes it rains lesser, so we can at least be able to place sensors where to indicate that okay, the level of the water is going up, there will be a risk of flooding, so we can at least take measures for that.
Well, Judith found that report. Her top story, the controversy about the free SHS introduction saga has, of course, deepened. The opposition MPP, NDC, today hold a press conference to insist they started the policy. A few of your messages on that. Evans, the MPP government failed to upgrade teachers who complete their education further, yet they find it necessary to pay us allowance for our vote. We are watching. This one says Evans progressively free and Nana Akufo-Addo's free SHS are different though, but Nana Addo's free SHS was built on JDM's progressively free SHS. Bottom line is free SHS was initiated by JDM. Ben says it is unhealthy to compare 2020 WASI results to the 2016 results because 2020 grading was a decrease. And then this one says progressively free SHS and free SHS is all aiming at making students go to school at no cost. I wonder how brilliant people stood up low because of political power. Final one says comparing this year's SHS results with previous ones will be unfair. And Ernest in Takrade says, please tell JDM and his NDC that we have not forgotten his slogan, free education 419. And Fred says, Evans, tell you what, did the MPP not start free SHS progressively? So free SHS or progressively free SHS is neither here nor there or relevant now. A few of your messages there. Enjoy the rest of your evening.